To open the customer request, hover your mouse over Forms, scroll down and click Customer Request. This will bring you to the screen you can now see. Before starting the request, you must have the credit application completed by the customer or a signed contract, as well as an ATO check completed using the ABN lookup website, run on the customer's ABN. You must also check within the ERP whether or not there's an account that already exists for this customer. If you have trouble doing this, then make sure you contact your AR staff member. The first item to note is the requisition number. You should record this number, as you may be asked for it when making inquiries on the request status later on. The first question, this customer is for. Using the drop down, select the correct option matching the business unit the customer wants to trade with. In this case, we're going to use valves controls. Using the credit application and the ATO check, add the customer's legal and trading names. Do this in capital letters. You also need to add their ABN. Make sure you do this without any spaces. You now need to select the request type. In this case, a new account should be selected. Using the ATO check, select the correct account type based on the customer's registration type. In this case, we'll be selecting a sole trader. However, in the case of a project or for Southern Cross only, a prepaid or maintenance account, you should select the corresponding account type rather than matching the registration. This pop-up screen will appear. The pop-up screen will provide you with a description of the account type you've selected, as well as a list of requested documentation for this request. Remember that you will need to have your supporting documentation saved in a PDF format where possible, and each file should be no larger than 4 meg. Click OK, I understand to continue with the request. The credit limit should be entered without dollar signs, a comma, or any cents. In this case, we'll be requesting a 5k credit limit. The currency should match either the order currency, if known, or should be based on the customer's current country location. In this case, Australian dollars. This brings you to the third-party relationship field. Before starting the request, you should have determined the relationship of the customer, completed the business sponsor form, and received the UIN approval email. If you've not done this, then by clicking on the third-party wizard and business sponsor form link under the CPI country question, it'll take you to the third-party fields and you'll be able to do so. Select the correct relationship type form based on the drop-down. In this case, we'll select EPC less than 250k. The CPI country relates to the country the customer is trading or registered in this case, Australia. A pop-up screen will appear. This pop-up screen advises the assessment ranking, whether it's its lowest or it's its highest, for the relationship type. Click OK to continue. Using the UIN approval email, add the UIN into the UIN field, ensuring you add the full UIN number rather than just the numbers. Using the business sponsor form, add the business sponsor's name and email address. You now need to attach both documents. Remember, files can be no larger than 4 meg and should be saved, if possible, in PDF format. Email saved as MSG files, which is a default option in Outlook, aren't accessible to others. So make sure you save these as HTML or PDF. You're now ready to attach the required supporting documentation. Before attaching the credit application, you're questioned about the terms and conditions. Are they non-standard Pentair terms and conditions? This means, has the customer provided their own T's and C's? If yes, click the icon. This pop-up explains that the non-standard terms and conditions are non-Pentair terms and conditions. This doesn't include Pentair T's and C's where the customer has crossed out or made amendments. It goes on to explain what actions are required. Tick legally accepted if the T's and C's have been reviewed by legal and have the approval or acceptance email saved. Or if a project and the contract has been signed with Pentair approvals. Tick OK, I understand if you haven't received legal approval or if the contract doesn't contain Pentair approval signatures. If you tick OK, I understand, stop proceeding with the request. Seek the correct approvals before finishing this request. In this case, we'll tick legally accepted. Attach the credit application and other supporting documentation. As mentioned previously, what documentation is required was contained in the first pop-up screen. If you would like to double check, or if you're unsure, then scroll to the bottom of the screen and click on the documentation help icon. The first pop-up screen will appear again. You can then use this information to make sure you have all the required documentation. Click OK, I understand to continue. If legal approval was required, then make sure to attach this documentation in the other field. You must add comments. Comments may include any background information on the customer. It may relate to the terms and conditions being amended by the customer, or the specific payment terms within the contract, or even the completion date of the project and details about the customer's needs after the project ends. This brings us to the data entry field section. These fields are specific to your business unit's ERP and are drop-down choices. Not all may be relevant to your business unit. Complete using business and customer knowledge. If you get stuck or unsure, contact your AR contact. Once completed, scroll to the top of the form and select the Step 2 tab. You're asked to select the correct sales manager or regional manager. To do this by selecting the dot icon in front of their name. Add any additional comments. Remember, the comments fields in this request are your opportunity to express the urgency or extra customer information. Once you've added the comments, you then need to press the action icon. You'll be taken back to the home page and your request has now moved to the first approval level. Depending on the credit limit amount you've requested will depend on how many approval levels will be required.